Now, I've got to tell you about Uncle I.D. Beasley. Uncle I.D. Beasley was state senator for 38 years, and he was Mama Neille's brother. And he was, of course, an attorney and state senator for, like I said, for 38 years. And he got everybody jobs. He got highway patrolmen their jobs, and he got little guys their jobs, and big guys their jobs and everything. But they were building Highway 70 over there under the bluff across from Carthage. And Governor Prentice Cooper, Uncle I.D. and Governor Cooper did not get along at all. They just did not like each other at all. And so one day, Governor Cooper came up through there to inspect how the road was going. Well, Uncle I.D. had gotten Hobson a job to direct traffic, and Hobson had a speech impediment. And so he came up through there, and Hobson flagged him down, and he says, son, said, you may not know who I am. I am Governor Prentice Cooper, the governor of the state of Tennessee. And Hobson said, I don't care who I.D. Beasley, who still can't come through here. Well, that just pissed the governor off totally. And so that another trick that Uncle I.D. did one time, Governor Cooper was making his State of the State speech, and he was telling everybody, all you young legislators, you know, I'm looking forward to each and every one of you to be there for me when I need you, and I'll be calling on each and every one of you to help me in your districts, and when I call you, I expect you to come and help me. And so Uncle I.D. sitting there listening to that, and he's watching this old boy from Fentress County up around Jamestown. And Uncle I.D. could mimic anybody. He was a great mimic, and he could mimic Prentice Cooper to the T. So that night he called this old boy from Fentress County. He was standing there in the hotel where Uncle I.D. was. And he said, son, this is the governor, and I need you to come out to the governor's mansion right now. Even though it's 9 o'clock at night, I have got some things for Fentress County that I need to go over with you, and you're the man I need to talk to. And if you'd come out right now, I would certainly appreciate it. Well, Cooper was a real early bed guy. And so this guy gets in a cab, and he goes out to the mansion, and back then you didn't have all the security and everything, so he goes up and knocks on the door, and the butler comes to the door. Can I help you? And he said, well, the governor had called for me. And the governor had been disturbed, and he was come down the top of the steps there, and he said, yeah, what is it, son? And he said, well, sir, said, you called me and asked me to come out here and to help you with some problems up in Fentress County. And so the governor knew immediately what happened. He knew exactly it was Uncle I.D. who'd got him involved in that. So he said, I tell you what, son, you've been played a trick on. Let us play a trick on somebody. So in the Andrew Jackson Hotel there in Nashville, Uncle I.D. had a chair that was just Uncle I.D. Beasley's chair. He sat there and read the paper, smoked his cigar every day. So they pointed him out to this old boy. He was a great big old raw-necked boy from, like I said, Fentress County. And he sort of idled up to Uncle I.D. the next day, and he says, mister, said, you know a feller by the name I.D. Beasley? And Uncle I.D. looked at him, knew him, and said, no, I don't believe I know him. He said, I tell you what, when I find him, said, I'm going to kill him. Said, he caused me to have a big embarrassment last night, and when I find him, I'm going to kill him. Well, Uncle I.D. went out, got on the bus, and came back to Carthage, scared him to death, so Cooper got him back. But Uncle I.D., he was a character. He and Jim Cummins and Pete Haynes were known as the evil trio in the state legislature. That's back when they controlled, each legislature controlled a block of counties, not one man, one vote like it is now. They controlled a block. So the three of them, when they wanted something passed, they would all three get together and they would have enough force to pass anything they wanted to. So one time Uncle I.D., he always lived at the Walton Hotel there in Carthage. He lived there and died there. The year your mom and I married, 1955. He went down to get on the bus. He never learned to drive. He was about 5'2" and weighed over 300 pounds. So he went down to get on the bus, and they said, well, Mr. Beasley, the bus is already run. He said, what do you mean the bus is run? He said, well, the daylight savings time, it's an hour ago. And he said, what do you mean daylight saving time? I said, well, daylight savings time, it's changed. So that so irritated Uncle I.D. that he got a highway patrolman then to take him to Nashville. And he got down there with Pete and Jim the next day, and they entered the law to outlaw daylight savings time in the state of Tennessee. Now this is in the state history books. In fact, I told a guy right here in the paper, Sam Venable, this story, and he looked it up in the state history books and wrote about it in the paper in Knoxville. And so they outlawed daylight savings time in the state of Tennessee, and Tennessee was one of the last states in the Union to come back to daylight savings time. Now, his brother, Uncle Clint, Clint Beasley, was Mama's brother, and he was county judge for 36 years. Now, Uncle Clint was scared of his own shadow. He was deathly afraid of thunderstorms, and he took an umbrella with him every day of the year. It could be sunshiny, it could be beautiful, but he always took an umbrella with him because he's afraid a rainstorm was going to come up. And he must have worn out, I don't know how many clutches on his cars, because he would always drive down Main Street with a clutch halfway in, because he was always prepared for a quick stop in case something happened. But Uncle Clint and Uncle I.D., they were two characters if there were two. Mama was a wild one, they weren't. They were down to earth.